After 65, your brain whispers before it screams. Tiny changes, things you might brush off as normal aging, could actually be urgent warning signs that your brain is aging too fast. Miss them, and years of precious memory, independence, and even your very personality could slip away faster than you realize. Doctors warn that most seniors overlook these hidden signals until real damage is already underway. But catching them early gives you a fighting chance to slow, stop, or even reverse decline. Today, we're revealing 6 critical signs to protect your mind, your memories, and your future. If you care about keeping your memory sharp and your independence strong, don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Together, we can create a stronger, healthier future, one step at a time. Struggling to find common words may seem small at first, but doctors explain it can be an early, silent warning that the brain's language centers are weakening faster than they should after 65. In everyday conversation, you might suddenly pause, searching for simple words you have known all your life, like chair, kitchen, or television. This is not about forgetting rare or complicated terms. It's about those familiar words you use every day. When this happens more often, experts say it's not just normal aging. Studies show it could signal early cognitive decline that, if ignored, can lead to much deeper memory loss and speech difficulties in the years ahead. Doctors have observed that the brain has specialized areas dedicated purely to language and communication. These areas, such as Broca's area and Wernicke's area, work together like a team. But when blood flow decreases or small amounts of damage accumulate silently over time, these regions can begin to falter. What you experience outwardly is that frustrating moment when you know exactly what you want to say, but the word feels stuck, just beyond your reach. Studies show that seniors who notice a steady increase in word-finding difficulties are at a much higher risk of developing more serious language disorders, including aphasia and early stages of Alzheimer's disease. Experts explain that this problem is not just about vocabulary. It's a reflection of the brain's overall health, how well the neurons are firing, how strongly memories are connected, and how much resilience your brain has left. Doctors warn that when seniors brush this off as just getting older, they often lose precious time to protect their brain. Early action matters. With the right steps, you can slow or even partially reverse the hidden damage, but only if you recognize the early signs. The struggle to find words also puts stress on your emotional well-being. Doctors have observed that seniors facing frequent word-finding blocks often begin withdrawing from conversations, social gatherings, and even family events. This isolation creates a dangerous cycle. Studies show that reduced communication shrinks the very brain networks needed for memory, problem-solving, and emotional resilience. It becomes harder to think quickly, harder to express yourself clearly, and much harder to stay socially connected. Left unaddressed, the brain's decline speeds up quietly behind the scenes, increasing the risk of dementia, depression, and even stroke. Another hidden danger experts explain is how small word-finding problems can slowly erode confidence. Seniors often become anxious during conversations, afraid they will forget words mid-sentence. This anxiety alone raises cortisol levels, the body's main stress hormone, which further damages delicate brain cells responsible for memory and focus. It is a slow, silent assault that most people never notice until it's too late. The good news is that researchers have shown the brain remains plastic even in later years. Plasticity means your brain can build new connections, strengthen weak ones, and repair mild damage if you act early. Studies show that activities like reading out loud, singing favorite songs, learning new languages, or engaging in regular, lively conversation can spark remarkable improvements in word retrieval and overall brain function. Nutrition, hydration, good sleep, and movement also play critical roles in protecting these fragile language pathways. Doctors emphasize that if you notice yourself or a loved one struggling more often to find common words, it's not something to ignore or feel ashamed about. It is the brain waving a small red flag, an invitation to slow down, pay attention and care for the mind with purpose and urgency. Today, choosing to honor these early signs with action could mean preserving years of independence, laughter, and deep conversations with the people you love most. Remember, protecting your brain is not just about adding more years to life. It's about adding more life to every year ahead. Every conversation matters, every memory matters, and you deserve to hold on to them as long as possible. Forgetting why you entered a room can seem harmless at first, but doctors explain it may be one of the earliest signs that the brain's short-term memory circuits are beginning to fray. Experts describe short-term memory as the brain's holding tank, where it keeps small, important bits of information just long enough to complete simple tasks. Things like remembering you walked into the kitchen to get your glasses, or that you entered the bedroom to pick up a sweater. When these tiny pieces of memory start slipping more often, especially in familiar places, it signals that the brain's ability to organize and retrieve fresh information is weakening. Studies show that after 65, the brain becomes much more vulnerable to small blockages in blood vessels, silent inflammation, and loss of neural connections. Doctors have observed that these changes often start quietly in the hippocampus, the area responsible for turning short-term memories into lasting ones. When this area struggles, even strong, intelligent seniors can suddenly find themselves standing in the middle of a room, puzzled, unable to remember why they are there. Experts explain that this confusion is not just forgetfulness, it reflects a deeper struggle inside the brain's core memory centers. Doctors warn that when this pattern happens regularly, it should never be dismissed as normal aging. Studies show that seniors who experience frequent moments of lost purpose, especially in familiar settings like their own home, face a much higher risk of progressing to serious memory disorders, including mild cognitive impairment and early Alzheimer's disease. The danger is that it often begins so subtly that families overlook it, until the gaps grow bigger and harder to hide. The emotional impact of these small memory lapses also quietly builds. Doctors have observed that many seniors begin to doubt themselves after repeated incidents. They may feel embarrassed, frustrated, or even angry at their minds for betraying them. Sadly, this self-doubt often leads seniors to stop engaging in new activities, social events, or even small errands they once enjoyed. But withdrawing only worsens brain aging, because mental stimulation and social interaction are two of the brain's strongest protectors. Researchers explain that when the brain starts losing its short-term grip, it struggles to perform a chain of simple actions that were once effortless. For example, you may go to the kitchen to grab a cup, but by the time you reach the counter, the original purpose has faded. Without a strong short-term memory, the brain has to work twice as hard to reorient itself, causing delays, frustration, and over time, deepening the cycle of cognitive decline. The good news, doctors say, is that the brain remains remarkably adaptable, even in later years. Studies show that specific brain exercises, daily physical movement, stress reduction, and building strong daily habits can help seniors rebuild short-term memory strength. Simple steps like saying your intention out loud before walking into a room, writing small notes, practicing memory games, or staying mentally active through conversation and hobbies can dramatically slow down this hidden form of brain aging. Doctors emphasize that recognizing and acting on these early signs makes all the difference. Forgetting why you entered a room isn't just a silly mistake to laugh off. It's your brain whispering for help. And the sooner you listen, the more power you have to protect your mind, your independence, and the beautiful moments you still have ahead. Today, take that small forgotten step seriously. Choose to strengthen your memory, not out of fear, but out of deep love for yourself and those you care about. Every small choice to protect your mind is a choice to protect your future, joy, laughter, and connection with life. Sudden emotional outbursts or irritability after 65 are not just signs of having a bad day. Doctors explain that these shifts can be early warnings that the brain's emotional control centers are under stress. Studies show that as we age, critical areas like the prefrontal cortex and amygdala which help regulate emotions, can quietly shrink or lose their sharpness. When this happens, seniors may find themselves snapping at loved ones, feeling unusually tearful, or swinging from calm to angry in ways that feel out of character. Experts have observed that emotional regulation relies on healthy brain circuits, communicating smoothly. When these circuits weaken, it becomes harder to filter feelings before acting on them. Minor annoyances that once rolled off your back can suddenly spark frustration. Moments of sadness can flood over you without a clear reason. Doctors warn that when emotional outbursts start appearing more often, it may reflect deeper changes unfolding silently inside the brain. Changes that can predict faster cognitive decline if not addressed early. Research shows that frequent irritability in seniors is strongly linked to increased risks of both dementia and stroke. The connection lies in the health of the brain's small blood vessels. Studies reveal that when these vessels narrow or harden, the brain doesn't get the steady flow of oxygen and nutrients it needs to stay stable. Instead, areas that control impulse, patience, and resilience start to falter. Emotional outbursts are often the first visible symptom that blood flow and brain health are slipping behind the scenes. Doctors explain that emotional outbursts can also trigger dangerous physical reactions. When anger or sudden sadness surges, the heart rate jumps, blood pressure spikes, and stress hormones flood the body. For seniors already vulnerable to cardiovascular strain, these repeated surges quietly raise the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and faster aging of the brain's delicate structures. In fact, studies show that seniors with frequent mood swings are twice as likely to develop major health events within 5 years compared to those who maintain emotional stability. It's important to understand that emotional swings are not signs of weakness or personality flaws. Doctors emphasize they are symptoms. Just like a fever signals an infection, ignoring them allows silent damage to grow. Addressing them early with compassion and proactive care can dramatically slow or even reverse the deeper changes causing them. Experts recommend simple, powerful strategies to strengthen emotional resilience after 65. Regular physical activity improves blood flow to the brain, nourishing emotional centers. Practicing calming techniques like deep breathing or short mindfulness sessions retrains the brain to find balance faster. Staying socially connected is another vital protector. Conversations, laughter, and shared activities stimulate emotional regulation pathways, keeping them flexible and strong. Doctors also stress the importance of healthy sleep patterns. Poor sleep is one of the biggest hidden drivers of emotional instability in seniors. Studies show that even minor sleep deprivation can triple the likelihood of sudden irritability the next day. Prioritizing restful sleep and addressing conditions, like sleep apnea if needed, gives the brain a nightly opportunity to heal and reset. Recognizing emotional changes as real health signals, and not just dismissing them as getting older, is a courageous first step. Doctors explain that by acting early, seniors can slow the shrinking of emotional control areas, protect their heart and brain, and maintain the relationships that bring joy and meaning to life. Today, if you notice sharper irritability, quicker tears, or deeper frustrations, don't ignore them. See them as messages from your brain asking for more care, more support, and more protection. Because protecting your emotional health isn't just about feeling better. It's about safeguarding the memories, independence, and moments of happiness you deserve for all the years still ahead. Misjudging distances or feeling clumsy after 65 is far more serious than just being a little off. Doctors explain that subtle slips, stumbles, or reaching awkwardly for objects can be among the earliest signs that critical brain circuits are starting to weaken. Studies show that spatial awareness, our brain's ability to judge distance, depth, and position, depends on strong, healthy communication between several areas of the brain. When these circuits start to falter, the body's ability to navigate space safely begins to quietly erode. Experts have observed that one of the earliest and most overlooked signs of aging brain function is a sudden change in how seniors move through familiar spaces. Reaching out and missing a door handle, bumping into furniture, or misjudging the curb height on a sidewalk are not just accidents. They are warnings. Doctors explain that as these small errors pile up, the risk of serious falls, fractures, and even traumatic brain injuries rises sharply, often without any clear early symptoms. Research shows that after 65, the brain's processing, speed, and coordination between vision and movement can slow down faster than people realize. Seniors may feel confident in their mind, but their body's ability to react to sudden obstacles or shifts in balance weakens quietly underneath. Studies link misjudged steps and clumsiness directly to shrinkage in brain areas like the cerebellum and parietal lobes, regions that are also connected to memory and emotional regulation. When these parts decline, the body's graceful control over space declines with them. Doctors warn that falls are not random accidents in seniors. They are often the end result of months or years of slowly worsening spatial processing. Every misstep or minor collision is the brain's way of waving a small red flag, asking for more attention and care. Ignoring these early signs can lead to devastating consequences. Falls are now one of the leading causes of hospitalization, long-term disability, and loss of independence in seniors over 65. Experts explain that poor depth perception affects more than just walking. It can also make tasks like climbing stairs, stepping into the shower, or even pouring a glass of water more dangerous. Small mistakes, repeated daily, gradually erode confidence and make seniors withdraw from activities they once loved. This withdrawal leads to isolation, depression, and faster overall cognitive decline. The good news is that early recognition can change everything. Doctors emphasize that the brain remains adaptable at any age if given the right support. Balance exercises, targeted physical therapy, and vision retraining programs can strengthen weakened pathways and dramatically reduce fall risks. Simple activities like practicing slow, controlled movements or walking along a straight line with focus can rebuild the brain's spatial awareness skills over time. Maintaining strong vision health is also key. Experts recommend regular eye exams, proper lighting at home, and minimizing cluttered walkways to support safer movement. Studies show that improving the visual environment alone can cut fall risks by up to 30% in seniors. Doctors have observed that strengthening the core muscles, the abdomen, hips, and back, can also work wonders. These muscles act like stabilizers for the whole body, giving the brain more control to adjust and recover from small slips before they turn into falls. Gentle exercises like Tai Chi, yoga, or water aerobics are powerful ways to rebuild balance without putting stress on aging joints. If you've noticed yourself or a loved one bumping into things more often, missing steps, or feeling slightly clumsier, listen closely. Your brain is sending an early warning, not to scare you, but to invite you to act. By paying attention now, you can protect your freedom, your independence, and your future health. Remember, it's never weakness to notice changes, it's wisdom. Taking steps today to protect your balance and spatial awareness is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself for the years ahead. Struggling to follow conversations in noisy places may seem like a normal part of aging, but doctors warn it can be much more serious than simple hearing loss. Studies show that the brain plays a much larger role than the ears when it comes to understanding speech in loud environments. Experts explain that when background noise rises, the brain must work harder to focus, filter, and piece together words from competing sounds. When this ability starts to weaken after 65, it can quietly signal early declines in memory, attention, and even problem solving. Doctors have observed that difficulty following conversations in busy restaurants, family gatherings, or even shopping centers often points to a hidden decline in auditory processing speed. It's not just about the volume of sound. It's about how quickly the brain can sort through the noise, identify the speaker, and connect the meaning of their words. Studies reveal that seniors who struggle in noisy settings show earlier and faster loss of gray matter in critical brain areas tied to cognition and memory. Experts explain that struggling to filter sound is strongly linked to attention decline. After 65, The brain naturally processes sensory information more slowly. If too many sounds flood in at once, the brain's aging filter becomes overwhelmed. Important words and meanings slip through unnoticed. Over time, seniors who constantly strain to hear begin to withdraw from conversations. Doctors warn this social withdrawal is dangerous because it starves the brain of vital stimulation, accelerating memory loss and increasing the risk of dementia. Research shows that missing pieces of conversations forces the brain into constant fill-in-the-blank mode, guessing what was said based on context. While the brain is trying to catch up, it burns through mental energy rapidly. Seniors often describe feeling mentally exhausted after noisy events, even if they physically feel fine. This exhaustion is not just frustrating, it is a warning sign. Experts stress that the brain's inability to handle sound processing pressure can quietly reflect deeper neurological decline. Doctors have also observed that struggling to hear in noise can worsen emotional health. Seniors may start avoiding social outings they once loved, fearing embarrassment or frustration. This isolation quietly feeds depression, anxiety, and faster brain aging. Loneliness, studies show, is as damaging to the brain and heart as smoking or obesity. A simple problem like hearing strain, left unaddressed, can cascade into much larger threats to a senior's independence and joy. The encouraging news is that recognizing these struggles early opens the door to powerful protection. Experts emphasize that seniors should not ignore trouble hearing and noise, even if they think it's just normal aging. Audiologists and neurologists now recommend cognitive hearing tests for seniors, which measure not only hearing ability, but how well the brain processes speech amid noise. Doctors explain that using hearing aids or assisted listening devices when needed is not a sign of weakness, it's a way to protect the brain. Modern devices are designed to amplify the speaker's voice while reducing background noise, giving the brain a much-needed break. Studies show that seniors who use hearing support early maintain stronger memory, attention, and emotional health, far longer than those who delay. Simple daily habits also help protect brain auditory connections. Experts suggest practicing focused listening exercises, such as listening to a podcast with background noise at a low volume, and training the brain to pick out key words. Gentle brain games that challenge attention and speed can also strengthen weakened pathways. If you or someone you love finds it harder to keep up with conversations in a noisy place, listen carefully to what the body and brain are saying. It's not just a hearing problem. It's a call for protection, for care, for attention. Ignoring it only allows the hidden decline to spread faster. But responding early, with awareness, support, and action, gives the brain the fighting chance it deserves. Protecting your mind starts with the smallest decisions today. Tune in, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Your future memories are counting on it. Losing interest in hobbies you once loved is not just a normal part of getting older. Doctors explain that when passion for favorite activities fades, it can be an early red flag that something deeper is changing in the brain. Studies show that the brain's reward system, which controls feelings of joy, motivation, and engagement, can quietly weaken after 65. When this system slows down, even activities that once lit up your heart can start to feel dull, tiring, or meaningless without warning. Experts have observed that sudden or gradual withdrawal from hobbies often signals early shifts in brain chemistry. It's not about laziness. It's not about just getting tired. Researchers explain that critical brain chemicals like dopamine, which drive pleasure and motivation, naturally decline with age. But when this decline happens faster than normal, it is often one of the first hidden signs of serious conditions like depression, early dementia, or even Parkinson's disease. Doctors stress that pulling away from once-loved activities creates a dangerous cycle. The less seniors engage with the hobbies and passions that once gave life meaning, the faster the brain's reward system continues to shrink. Studies show that regular mental and emotional stimulation is vital for keeping brain cells connected, strong, and adaptable. Without it, The pathways responsible for memory, decision-making, and emotional balance weaken over time, often without obvious warning signs until the damage is already deep. Experts also warn that losing interest in hobbies often leads to quiet, emotional decline. Seniors who stop painting, gardening, playing music, or participating in social activities may not just feel bored, they may feel isolated. Research shows that emotional isolation damages the brain almost as quickly as physical illnesses do. Depression, anxiety, and even faster cognitive decline are far more common among seniors who no longer engage with meaningful hobbies. Doctors explain that losing interest in hobbies is not always an automatic sign of dementia or Parkinson's. Sometimes it reflects untreated depression, hidden loneliness, or undiagnosed sleep problems that steal energy and motivation. However, the key warning is the sudden or slow, unexplained change. If someone who loved woodworking suddenly leaves projects unfinished, if a once passionate gardener now ignores their favorite flowers, if hours once joyfully spent reading, painting, or crafting now seem pointless, experts advise paying attention, not brushing it aside. Studies show that addressing hobby withdrawal early can actually slow down or even reverse parts of brain aging. Doctors have observed that reintroducing small, low-pressure activities without judgment or guilt can reignite the brain's reward circuits. Even simple actions like attending a music event, painting for 10 minutes, or joining a social group for coffee once a week can gently wake up dormant areas of the brain tied to joy, curiosity, and emotional health. Medical experts strongly encourage seniors and their families to talk to a trusted doctor if they notice these changes. Gentle screening for depression, cognitive decline, or neurological issues can help catch problems early when they are most treatable. Doctors emphasize that the brain, like any other organ, needs stimulation, exercise, and care to stay strong. Allowing hobbies to quietly slip away without action puts the brain at risk of weakening faster than necessary. If you or a loved one feel a loss of interest in once loved hobbies, know this: it is not your fault. It is not just old age. It is a message from the brain asking for support, not silence. Listening to that message, seeking help, and taking small steps toward re-engagement can protect your emotional happiness, your independence, and your memory for many years ahead. Your joy matters. Your passions matter. Reaching for even a small spark of what once brought you happiness can light a path back to a stronger, brighter future.